Hello, Instant Magicraid community, Flaery here. Today we'll be talking about PvP lineups, synergies in PvP, what you should be using to counter specific units, and in general what you should be synergizing in PvP. Now I'll go over my lineups in Classic Arena, Advanced Arena, and then 5v5, likely in Path of Glory 2. And yeah, for Classic Arena we have the current meta, which is basically this. You could use Panda instead of Wukong. It does slightly help more against the same comp. So it helps against Beatrix's stun and Giselle's stun, and yeah, especially if you don't have a Wukong at exclusive 3 or a Murong, definitely can help out there. Now there's a lot of variations for Classic Arena that you could be running depending on what you have really. If you have any of the new units, you could be doing Lance or Morikes, BJ with Giselle. You could be even doing Pani with 5 control attack units with Santa and another freezer like Nasio for a perma-freeze team. That works pretty well too, and I mean it actually works really well. Let me just show you. I think I have it right here. Yeah. Now, if you don't have Nasio exclusive 1, you could be doing Aronai, but make sure to start with her S2 and not her S4, because Pani would actually make one crowd control uncleansable, which would be her passive, I think. No. Okay, so this one. Okay, so you would need exclusive 2 on Pani to work. She would be in resonance enhancement at the start of the battle, because she would have gained 5 resonance points, and then I think she starts with some. Okay, no, she gains 2 resonance points, and I guess she gains 2 from herself, so she would be yeah, she's already enhanced, right? Now I originally built her with speed gear. That was because I was using Runai here, and I wanted Pani to go basically first. After Runai casts skill 2, Pani would go with her skill 2, and then land a freeze, and then that freeze. So the very first crowd control you land in this team would be uncleansable, and you want that to be a freeze. So then Santa can follow up and apply his perma freeze. Basically, we're referring here to when he lands a freeze on already frozen units, he extends the duration of that freeze, and because the freeze we already landed is uncleansable, not even a Panda can stop it. So you're basically perma-freezing any team that is not immune to crowd control. So that would be like Big Jack, Jack and Roll. He's immune to stun and freeze. We have Morong, who's immune to any crowd control for 9 turns. We also have Nasil, who is immune. We have other units, but I don't think they're that relevant. The nice thing about this, about Pani, she would stop the self-cleanse of Giselle, because the freeze would be uncleansable. She would stop the self-cleanse of R2 should stop the random cleanse from Wukong and the random cleanse from Murong. Both of them cleanse one random debuff, but the debuff would be uncleansable. So let's see it in action. We land 3 freezes. Wukong resisted. That is a little unfortunate. Not very high effect race on him, but he does gain a lot of effect race from his passive. We're not that high in effect hit on our Nazir. I would have liked more, but this is what we have, I guess. We also have about 40% freeze hit. Should probably try and get better ones on him and on Santa. Yep, definitely. Our effect hit on Giselle, on Penny, it's not that bad. I went with double devour on her and advanced hit aura, so this way she's actually higher attack than my Giselle. So Docker or Atkins, Docker would imprison her and Atkins would go for her, so my Giselle is sort of protected in a sense. We're also protected against Donald, but that's kind of irrelevant nowadays. We don't see Donald. Okay, let's see if this can win still, even though we didn't freeze Wukong. Santa reduces his cooldown on his freeze if there are 2 or 3 enemies. So that's pretty good. Well, if we landed the freeze on Wukong, it would have been 2 turns, but what can you do? Anyways, because we have a lot of debuffs, we have a stun from Giselle, we have another freeze from Bunny. I think that's more than enough to lock the team down, and you can see that is exactly the meta team I showed you for Classic Arena. And even with a budget team like this, you can challenge it. Obviously, I'm using Manta Ray Pet here, which works really well with Popper, because he reduces turn meters and then it gives some energy to the Manta Ray. We don't have energy, we don't have turn meter gain, which would also boost further the Manta Ray, but it's kind of whatever. I think you can win this even without the Manta Ray Pet. Yeah, it would take a while because this team is way too tanky to exist in the game, but it is what it is. We have it. Just too much tankiness. Yeah, you can see we're on 1 turn cooldown now, Santa. We landed, well, probably not enough. Well, it is a 4 turn cooldown, so yeah, we landed enough to reduce it by 2 turns. So basically we have a 2 turn cooldown on it once we cast Effect Res down on all enemies from Pani. I didn't manage to get her Echo. It is not the best one at 0 stars, but it certainly gets a lot better at max stars. Getting that effect hit for your whole team that is control based is very good here. Also, the further attacking mastery would make her do some damage. I am at about 170 or 180, I think, but my mastery is reduced by the enemies. I am at 240 with Giselle, and we're reduced basically by almost 90%. I actually don't know what reduces our mastery. Yeah, I couldn't tell you. It's probably Giselle. Too many effects in the game now. And because Wukong provides mastery, 200 mastery resistance, this takes forever. But you can see it's working out fine. the only unit you could replace in this team currently, as I said, would be Nazil or Popper, but I feel like Popper is too good for his effect res down and def down and stripping buffs, although Giselle does provide that too. So we might try something else here, but as you can see, a very much weaker team considering in the current meta. Let me move away my camera as you can see the actual damage values. So Pani doing an alright amount of damage. The Manta Ray is doing a crazy amount of damage here, but let's say you don't have it, and let's see if this actually works against a stuck team like this. Maybe with the poison pet. You should definitely have the poison pet. As a free-to-play player, it really boosts Giselle's damage by a lot. I think it would be boosting Pani in this case because she's higher attack than my Giselle. Yeah, so this is kind of an anti-synergy here, but should still be good. Let's see if it can work actually. Yeah, maybe not. Well, at least maybe not as reliable. Okay, so wrong went. I mean, we did more damage. Interesting. Wow. Okay. So is poison pet better? Yeah, that's almost twice as fast. Okay. Yeah, poison pet is really good with Giselle. Okay, nice to know that. Now, obviously, if you don't have Giselle, you'll be doing something else entirely. And that's one of the themes I wanted to talk about next that could potentially work out for you, would be a damage dealer. And now you'll need the core of Pani, Santa, and Nazil. Maybe we can drop Nazil and just use the freeze from Jingle Bell. She does get a lot of freeze hit, and then we would do Bunny here or Blaze. Blaze really good because she would dispel a crowd control from the highest attack unit. She would also grant crit damage up, attack up, cooldown reduction, and in the long fights I think she would be better. She also grants speed up. And the problem with Esther here, although Esther also has the control attack, which really helps because we want 5 control attacks here. Esther would give you a better burst damage for your hero, but if it is not a direct damage dealer, like Jingle Bell, Esther wouldn't be as beneficial. Now let's see control and what you could possibly be doing here. As we said, Beatrix can be fine, Lydia can be fine, but yeah, she can be fine. Blaze, Mercado can work really well. If you do Shao, you would need a Saga City with her. Well, not necessarily, but I'll probably do Dianmo. At least yet to test her. I just put her and put my 3 eyes into her without thinking about it. I think she would be very strong, but we'll have to see. Don't take my word on it. Okay, so let's try this first. I don't think it's going to be that strong because, well, Giselle is like 10 times stronger than Jingle Bell. It's just, yeah. Yeah, that's kind of sad, but let's try Ghost instead. I think the main issue here is that we're not going with Santa, so we would definitely need Blaze here for it to work. Because Blaze also grants turn meter, which would allow our Santa to go before them, before actually Giselle acts. Yep. Land another freeze. And a stun from Blaze. Then they get out of CC. Yeah, that's not going to be as reliable. I mean, it's gonna work against weaker teams, obviously. Well, let's not do poison pet here. Let's do a proper pet here. Probably Deer or Manta Ray. We'll have to see. Okay, we landed the 4 freezes. Now, they should be frozen for 2 turns, 2 turns, 2 turns, and 2 turns. And that's the whole team, basically, the whole idea behind the team. Okay. Okay, so she does have 1 turn left. And now this would be cleansable. But she also has a stun, so she has a couple of debuffs actually, and I don't know how she gets out from. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I think Eratu getting out here because we got our HP reduced. Yeah, obviously this cannot work as well, but we tried. Can probably work against a weaker opponent. But I'm not sure we have one in our guild right now. No. Maybe. Maybe we could try against Mo. Okay, no. We died passively. Let's try this. Nowhere to. Yeah, I don't think this team has a chance. Bunny is killing them. Okay. No. Not relevant. I need a slightly stronger team, but not that strong. Maybe. Yeah, maybe I can show you here. Bunny working against Panda. They won't be able to cleanse it. Although we have a stun on Lydia, which is a little unfortunate. We also have no strip in this team, so yeah, we would be doing no damage. This is where Popper is really helping. Okay, so Nordag's gonna go. Yeah, I think we're better off with that wolf pet in here. Yeah. Okay, so we want to find a good team for it. Maybe the Quinlan pet would actually be nice here too. Yeah. Oh, we got imprisoned. We're landing stun with Nazil, and that kind of makes our Santa not freeze 4 units. Yeah, I wonder if actually Nita here would be better in the current meta at least. They have a Quinlan too. I think we might actually yeah, if this was a Need 3 Era 2 and just a better team, we would likely die here. But either way, it's nice to see a CC team winning against a Panda, and an exclusive 3 Panda at that, which was previously not possible at all. Yep. Maybe, let's say you don't have place, you would want maybe space here, or some turn meter booster, and then any damage dealer. Let's say this is my Nita, because I don't have my Nita build. We can try Shao. I don't have good gear on her right now, because I'm no longer using her in PvP. Okay. We did give turn meter to Erato, interestingly enough. Okay, so yeah, not as good as JB. We got our cooldowns reduced, I think. We did stun Nordic here, so that's nice at least. Yeah, I think Blaze is better definitely than Dianmo, but anyways, seeing this team beat their team, I mean, come on. That's one limited exclusive, one limited hero. And yeah, just one free-to-play pet. And, well, obviously it carried here because it's stunned Nordic, but you get the point. We are using Dianmo and Imercado, all non-limiteds against 1, 2, 3, 4 limited heroes, with a Panda, which was previously not possible. And as you can see here, yeah, Pani is definitely worth it, if you've been wondering that. Okay, let's move away from 1v1 and trying to help you guys. Let's move on to the 3v3. And this is what I have currently. Yeah, I've been testing it out. Used to have Rona here, and then yeah, basically that, I think. And then this team, very good one. I still need Docker Zeko, and yeah, this one, Willa here, just because I have advanced hit around her, and she would be higher attack than Lance in battle, so an enemy Docker would imprison my Willa. Obviously Morkis has way better synergy here, because she would buff the attack of Lance, and she would also reduce the enemy speed, which would more often than not allow my BJ to go first, use his S2 on my Lance and just end the battle right there. But we are trying to find the best teams for my server group. If you don't face too many Dockers, you will need it, but sadly I think I am facing at least one Docker. Let's see, maybe if somebody else has it. Right, yeah. Yeah, the team can work with Ronite too instead of Popper, and you could use Popper elsewhere, as you can see here. But definitely do start with Ronite S2. You don't want her to go with Hypnotize, because Hypnotize, sure, it wouldn't be cleansable, but Hypnotize breaks from damage, and also you wouldn't be able to permafreeze with Santa. So you definitely want, well, Nas would go here first. Never mind what I just said, but do have it in mind. So Nas would go here first, yeah. Then you would Hypnotize. Yeah, that's alright too. Might even be better than Popper, honestly. Just because Rona has better effect res, has turn meter reduction and turn meter gain, which would further boost our Manta Ray pet. Although we just seen the poison pet makes this team do double its damage. Yeah, who would have thought? Right. Okay, no Docker here. We have a Docker here. I think also Flaery had a Docker. Yep. Then maybe this guy too. Yep. Okay. Let's maybe see something. Car is a good example. Now, typically, they should win this because they are reducing my speed with Morikes. But they probably don't have enough speed on their Big Jack. Let's see. 3200. Okay, they have Skill Master. And if they had Speed Aura, they would be at 3300, which would be very close to mine because I have my speeds reduced by their Morikes. They also are not at 250, likely because they are at 250 in character sheet. Well, they are at 223 in character sheet, and they would be exactly at 250, but Lydia reduces effect hit by 5% at the start, and she further reduces it. Okay, 4%, excuse me, 4%. Wait, if it's 4%, they would be at 249. Okay, Ka, if you're watching this, fix your effect hit on Morikes. You would have won this because you would get one more breakpoint, the last breakpoint for Morikes, and you would have been able to reduce my speeds further, which would mean your Big Jack would have went first. Yeah, this mirror matchup is basically whose BJ goes first, and that's it. That's it. That's the whole battle. Obviously, Mork is way better in the mirror. You could do this with Freud here instead of Wukong, and as long as you go first, it doesn't matter because Freud would be enough to save you from the passive damage of Lens. Yep. Okay, so the battle 2, we're kind of having a mirror, but Panda is so much better here because of Beatrix, and Dokura would stop their Shao from going, which means we'll not proc their Erato, because if we proc their Erato, we will die because Moronk is not enough to save you alone from an Erato. Well, from a good build Erato. Like mine, you can see, I expect any endgames player Erato to be built well. And we're winning here a Panda Giselle team, which, by the way, Panda Giselle is kind of the only counter to this team, and we somehow won it. This would be interesting to see. I actually don't know how. Okay, so we landed 3 freezes only because their Hengi would have crazy effect race about 300 maybe. Okay, not 300. Okay, so kind of low on the effect race. If they're wearing 2 tough sets, they should have a little higher. Maybe they don't have A tier, B tier. Okay. Oh, I guess since they don't have a Moronk or Wukong, the fight just ends, right? Yeah. And we can see Pani actually doing pretty good damage here, because I built her for damage, as I don't need speed on her anymore. I'm sorry to whoever I misled in building Pani with speed. It's still a viable strategy. I just prefer mine to be doing damage for PV as well. And you can see here we're winning another meta composition with Shao, yep, against the Panda. This one, yeah, we wouldn't have a challenger here, and this one typically loses to our composition, and this is where Wheeler is actually good against a cleave, because Popper or Esther would go 2 turns, and then Wheeler would proc her passive, reduce their turn meters, and we would just generally go first, and they would die because Lance is that good. Yep. Now let's move on to 5v5. I guess War of Thrones, kind of the same thing as Championship, really. Not exactly, but this is what we have right now. It's been doing pretty well. I have my 14th team basically to win the enemy's 14th team, so it's nothing. It's not designed to win all matchups, and this is what you should be expecting of your 14th team, to basically take 1 or 2 wins. If it takes 0 wins, you need to work on it, maybe make your 4th team more stacked, and your 5th team would basically be a sacrifice team. But it's better to get at least 2 wins with your 4th and 5th team rather than getting 0. So don't be trying to make like some synergies here if you don't have enough units for them. Okay, this is what we have. Lydia, we're starting with her skill 2 here, because we don't want to be proccing Lance, because when he gets crowd controlled, he gets I believe 30% turn meter. It's been a long while, actually 35%, and with some good speed this makes him go first. Well, not first, but yeah, being able to cut basically. Okay, Beatrix, always going with her skill 2, her stun, because her AI is really not that smart, and she would cast her S4 on really bad stuff. I'm talking like 1 bleed layer. It's not a control debuff, but she casts it for some reason instead of doing her S2, which is just so much better. It grants you block removal, stuns the enemies, increases your piercing rate and effect hit, and grants you that 45% skew damage right here. If you have 250 effect hit on her, obviously, but 45 skill damage is just too good on Lance, because he already gets some. We don't have his Echo Max, but we have versatility, double devour, and even though Murong is reducing skill damage, we get a lot in this team. This team we already covered. We're going with the fake revival buff on team 2, because Big Jack actually synergizes with him with this buff, because if 4 of your units die, well, 4 of your units would die if your team is going to die, and Big Jack would save 1 of them, and then this buff would resurrect the other 4, which can work sort of. I mean, in the current meta nowadays, it's just if you die, you lose. That's it. There's no coming back. Maybe against some not so strong team, the fake revival could win you some RNG game, but most likely not. Soulbomb, I would say, is probably the strongest buff in this mode. Really good one. Then we have this buff, which was not very good when War of Thrones released, but it is now, because, well, not only that the enemies cannot cleanse the freezes that we are landing, but they cannot cleanse the dot debuffs, and this team is that. It's crowd controls and dot debuffs, and just obliterates teams. Yep. The 4th team, we are using the HP buff just because it is that good. Which one is it? This one. It does reduce our damage by 50%, but because we have 1, 2, 3, 4 HP users, it makes our team tanky enough to actually take out a team like this. Using here any other buff wouldn't help us too much. This tank build up I don't like because it is too slow, and more often than not, even if you play it in a cliff, you would be able to act 4 times, meaning you would still have your damage reduced by 10% or so, yeah, which just doesn't pay up. It's maybe worth it in longer battles, but in the current meta in 5v5 there's no long battles at all, like no long battles really. Maybe in this team, maybe, yeah, but even so, if we give this buff here, then the corroded land we wouldn't be able to use elsewhere, so and then we have the last stand buff, which is really good, especially in the early game. You can use with like space, and then you have 20% more attack in your team. Obviously you would use attack based heroes here to try and make the buff work, but Mercado synergizes really well with this buff, because when he loses a certain amount of HP, he would automatically cast his vines, whatever, something S2, I think, yeah, skill 2. I think he cast skill 2, which, yeah, okay, so when he loses 30%, he casts Fallen Poison Ivy, and afterwards it resets, but it has 3 turn cooldown, so doesn't matter, but he would cast it right away, give poison up, silence them, and just deal a crazy amount of damage. We have Nilo here with Combat Vanguard. When she applies that, also restores Echo, so she would kind of act like a mini Lydia for me in this team. But further, Mercado and JB's passive, and Elsa is here just to prevent our units from dying, and we're also smart casting her S2, because S4 actually grants heal, and if we by some chance face an Atkins and live, we don't wanna make Atkins go pew 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 on us. Yep, that's basically it. We are, well, nobody attacked here yet, I guess. Let's see. Yeah, yeah, we could have won this likely if we had Docker's Echo. We won the mirror, which was funny to me to see. Let's actually play it out and show you what the suicide team is doing. It's kind of a funny battle. We did silence there, Esther, and then Nilwa goes. Oh, they're using the fake revival buff. I think that's what lost them the game. Surely. Maybe. Then team 4. Let's see it. Now, I would have liked to have one more buff here. Probably using Ronai instead of Hengi. But Hengi is so much better in the mirror matchup that we're using her instead. But with Ronai we would have one more buff, because crit damage is from Blaze, then we have the invincibility from Surtur, and then we would need one more buff just to be able to protect the buffs against the Popper, but there's no Popper anymore in the endgame meta in JB's Cliff, because we're using Popper in the Bunny team. So I guess that's just fine, yeah. So they're obviously killing us here. Morgis is dying, but she gets to go right away because of her passive. And yeah, they're resurrected. Yeah, and then die here. Okay, that's team 4 and team 5. Right, this team, they won here because of speed advantage. Here, and then here, they just won. I guess because they've used gear in this team instead, which also works fine, I guess, I suppose. Maybe we could do that to try and secure one more win. Yeah, that's a nice example of what you should be looking out for if you're trying to min-max your teams, basically. Okay, they did win the mirror matchup here, just probably way better stats than mine, but still nice to see that we're doing so well this far in the game with people that have an year over me. And yeah, so what would we do here? So we would do tier there, we set, and then we expect actually nice with cleaves and teams like that. If it gets to go, it gives us one more chance to live and cast something with our units. Okay, so let's redo, and this is what we have to do every time because we are very limited on preset slots, only 100. We set Lydia. I do prioritize it just because I like her doing damage, and I have double devour on her. Beatrix S2 here. Okay, and then this team we set Elsa S2. Yeah, I don't have the best gear on Elsa. I just gave her some leftovers of tough sets. I have a lot from my early days when tough set was the one of the best ones. Ninoa, I need to work on. I really would like to get her some more attack, some more crit damage, but it is what it is. I have higher priority heroes to build all the time because they keep releasing new heroes. Yeah, guess this should work out fine. I actually want to try using the Manta Ray here and the Poison Pet in this team, just for the fun of it. I think it would be funny just to test. Okay, so I did manage to get Elise and just gave her 3 of my eyes. Okay, then I'm left with 1 eye, I think. Yep. I did build her. With just speed set, good effect hit, but nothing too crazy. This is what I got on her. In terms of emblems, I didn't go for too much damage, and I will redo her emblems and do speed instead, because in her current setup, for me at least, with just speed gear, she doesn't do too much damage. I should probably mythic this piece and give it to somebody just for the speed. Yeah, it's not a really good one, and only a HUD would benefit from it. He can crit. Okay. Give me a second. Sorry about that. Windows updates, man. So annoying. Okay, anyways, yeah, I should probably do that. Let's keep moving on. We covered 1v1, 3v3, just my current setups, but let's actually talk about the meta. Okay, let's try and see what we can do. So, this team we would counter with probably Panda and some crowd control. Docker wouldn't work here because Docker would imprison Morikis here. This is one of my previous teams. Here we can be that with Lance or a mirror setup, likely with Lydia instead of Nordic, and then this one we can beat with our current Lance team with Willa, where Willa would eat the Docker in prison. If we do Morikis would boost Lance's attack further, and we cannot make that work. We could potentially make it work, but I would have to lower the attack of my Lance to be slightly lower than the attack of my Morikis. Then it would work, because I have advanced hit aura on her, which is 27%, and she does buff bleeders by 40% attack. Okay, so I need to reduce Lance by a lot to make this work, which would just make him not usable really. He's an attack based hero, and you really want him to have good attack. 76. Okay, so we were talking about the meta, how to counter it. That would be what I would do, and I'm already doing it, just to be able to beat this guy, because he's an annoying one, and just copying my teams and blah blah blah. I should probably try and talk about early game PvP, but honestly I don't think I can cover that right now. I'll probably need an early game account to actually go over synergies there. I'd rather just talk about the end game. We see this team a lot with Shao, Morong, very good synergy with R2. Shao would go and counter attack, and then R2 would finish. Panda is really good in this team, just countering Giselle's and Beatrix's and giving R2 HP up 2, and then Nordic cleansing attribute debuffs and also increasing the team's HP further. But Nordic sadly kind of fell off in the current days, and all the mythics really fell off. Really glad that we're getting some rework on them, and their exclusive 4 would actually do something more. We would see what that would be, and if it would change anything for the meta. Yeah, that's about it. If you don't have Giselle in this team, you could try out Nita, really, she could work. You could try out something like Rona here or Willa for early game. And your free limited box, you should always be picking Santa there, no exceptions. And if you're close to getting Santa to exclusive 2, you should do that. And if you have an Azil, you should do this team with Pani. She would need exclusive 2 for the freeze to be uncleansable. But yeah, that's something like a direction for you to go for an F2P free-to-play account. Definitely doable. Honestly, in Popper's spot, you would want anything that does some utility, some good utility, like thermometer reduction, thermometer gain, buffing, more crowd control, speed reduction, anything of that sort really. Like even Morikis here would work, although she doesn't have control tag, so no, she wouldn't work, but let's see what could potentially work. So we said Runai. Bunny could work with Giselle. Yeah, that's a good one. If she gets to go, that is. She would give Bloek, making Giselle CC immune. And in her egg form, she would be also immune to crowd control, but we cannot actually make her immune to crowd control. So actually Blaze here would work really well, and it might even counter this very same team. Well, she wouldn't be able to cleanse the freeze, so no, it wouldn't counter it really. Maybe Runai would actually make this team better. Would really need to test that. I don't think it would, but let's actually try it and show you how I go over about testing. Where's the team? Do I have this team set up? No. So what did we say? Giselle, Santa, Nas, Popper, Bunny, Nas. Where are you, Nas? And then what I typically do here is ban his S4 because I don't care about it too much. I prefer him going with S1 to try and freeze, although it's a very low chance, but it's still better than some S4. Yeah, that would be the team, and then you would go into guild and challenge yourself. And what we will do is the same team here, but use Ronai instead. Obviously Manta to be on par with that team. What did we say? Bandits, and we want to start with Ronai S2, and I would even say prioritize it. Yep. Okay. Let's see if it is actually better. We may be able to use Popper in our JB team. Yeah, I don't think it is. Yeah, no, it really isn't. Just Popper going there and allowing the Manta Pet to go before us. I mean, it's obviously close, but yeah. Maybe if we do S4 on Runai, but then... Yeah, S4 on Runai would actually work here because Nazio is landing the freeze anyways. But Runai would need to go before Popper, which is just not possible. Oh, she resisted the freeze. Okay, this might actually work. Yeah, this might actually... Oh no, but we got our Santa frozen. Right, so yeah, if you make your Runai with very high effect hit and give her freeze res blessings in order for her to resist the freeze by Nazio, she would actually counter this team, which works. Yeah, that's what we want to do. But would she be better against the other teams instead of Popper? I couldn't tell you. Would need to be tested, and then obviously we would use Popper in this team. We would drop Elsa probably, although I really like Elsa. I'll probably drop Bunny. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to play around with it. But I'll probably drop Elsa and actually do Elsa in here instead of Surtur. Yeah, I prefer Elsa over Surtur, honestly. In these fast-paced games, Elsa is more reactive. Yeah. Okay, so Penny. Let me show you what I have on her. I have double Devour. Alright attack, I would get more attack on her when I level her aura. I gave her my Xiao's aura because I don't use Xiao, as I said. Then some good effect hit, good mastery. I would actually want more mastery to be able to counteract the current method that is reducing my mastery a lot, along with Wukong and Giselle and whatever. It's kind of annoying. I'll need to level this Echo further. Her own, getting some stars on it would certainly help her do more damage and help the team out. And getting some better mastery blessings here would definitely help. I'm always going with speed here on my units. You can question it and do your own thing. And then in terms of emblems, I've went with damage, and yeah. By the way, if you haven't seen the emblem changes, we have new emblems. Well, at least about 14 of them were changed, and later in the day we'll be getting one free reset for each of our heroes, which is really generous of them. I'm glad that they actually listen to us players, and they will be doing this. We would be able to reset it for free, and they would also be sending us 2000 gems, which is very nice of them. So we would be redoing our emblems. For example, this emblem will do nothing for us because we don't do direct damage with Pane. Well, I mean, this kind of counts as direct damage, so I guess it might be the best of this row, because we don't have shields and heals either, so this row of emblems is kind of awkward if you go the support route. I don't want to be picking this one, because sacrificing 9% more damage taken for 6% more damage is not worth it to me. Just not worth it. Like, this 9% can be crucial and make your unit die in PvP and just lose you the game. Especially for early game players, do not pick this emblem. For example, your Makin would get obliterated because of it. Trust me. Okay. Pani, these stats, advanced hit, emblem auras, gear. We have some. Let me move my camera. We got a nice weapon here yesterday. Obviously, I would have liked something better than crit, but it's still a nice piece. We got a blue chest piece on her with mastery and fake hit. I would have liked some speed here, or attack rate, or more mastery. Let's see if we can maybe give her a better one, really. Def speed, maybe. What do we have on Xiao? Right, but we lose a lot of effect hit. We gain some speed and very little mastery. Okay, this. No, this. Yeah, likely this. Likely we would want this. Let's maybe see. Def and mastery. What do we have? Yeah, that's a very good one, but no speed gain. Yeah, I don't know. We got this yesterday too. I'm actually happy about this. Okay. Elise, I'm yet to test her. It would take me a while to actually test her and review her. I was able to get up to level 24, stage 24 in Faction Abyss, but the problem is that they actually buffed the levels and stats of the units in Faction Abyss for the new faction. So we saw stage 25 had levels for 10, and in here they're 310, which to me makes no sense, makes the faction so much harder to actually clear. Faction Abyss, you can see level 30 of the old factions is units with level 360, and in here we're facing 410. I mean, if you're gonna do this, might as well do it for all factions, but doing it on the new faction is kind of bad for us because we didn't get a 5 faction banner. We only got 2. Then we got the Epic Ghetto. Now we're getting Elise, and we're getting Boban on the Thanksgiving, which would be supposedly next Thursday, but we'll have to see. And even then, with 5 heroes and with the Epic Ghetto, this makes a really hard faction to clear, even with the 5 units. And I think we should be getting more aggressively the new faction heroes, because right now most players would have about 1 or 2 of the new faction with low exclusives and not well built and no gear, so likely they would be around here, most of them, I would suppose. Yeah, okay. Am I missing something? Likely we did cover Penny, Elise, Hat. Yeah, if you want to be clearing the new faction, faction Abyss, you need to give Hat a very good gear. What I do is just go over here and use my preset for Lance, because Lance is a blue mark, and I just take off his gear. You can see we're gaining some crazy stats here. And I would give my Hat what I have on Penny right now. Yeah, this one, a pretty crazy one. If only it didn't roll crit damage, this would have been a perfect piece, but whatever. It's still very good, we cannot complain about it. So yeah, as I said, I might as well use my skill here, but this is such a bad piece for me right now. Maybe when we get crit rate, crit damage based hero in the new faction, this would be a good one. Maybe, we'll have to see. Okay, we talked about PvP, covered most of the meta. At least I think so. I'm planning on doing more videos of this sort. I think it's interesting to people that have been asking me about it. And in the future one, I plan on actually going about different compositions and the kind of the rock, paper, scissors meta, and how would you go about countering different teams. I really like 5v5 mode, like War of Thrones, because it allows us to actually see how all the teams are performing, and certainly it's more just more entertaining for endgame players to have to think about 5 teams and not just 3 teams. And to me at least, and I think most people would agree with me in the late game, that advanced arena is boring, and most of us just send our daily 10 battles and don't even look at them, and then even I would do this, just come in here, look at the top teams and copy them and not bother. Yeah, and just send my battles. Same way with Classic Arena. It's because it's the first thing you do in terms of PvP content, and I am 1 year into the game and I got bored of Classic Arena probably 2 or 3 months in, and I just do my autos and that's it. Imagine a player that's been playing it for 2 years. Yeah, for them it's basically the same thing. While there are some players that actually enjoy Classic Arena, and yeah, to me it's too boring, especially with the current meta that is this team. Well, not this team. Would be funny if this was the current meta. It can be, actually, with a little more push, it can be, but let's actually not go there. I mean, yeah, let's not go there. This would be a weird meta. I wasn't around for the Nazim meta, really, but that must have been fun without Panda in the mix. Okay, so no, this is not the current meta. I would have wanted to do this, but no Docker Echo, which is too important, sadly. So this is the current meta, where the battles last for 100 turns, 60 turns, 200 turns, depending on your units and the enemy's units. And honestly, if you don't want to bore yourself of these, just put the one-man defense and lower your rank and do your autos. That way you would be getting wins instead of losses, and you would be able to revenge attack weaker players, maybe test out different teams that way too. Definitely do that. But if you don't care about Classic Arena like me, just put your strongest defense and auto it. Same way with 3v3. The only good thing about 3v3 right now is that we are able to test our Guild vs Guild or Ball of Glory teams, basically the two 3v3 modes besides the Advanced Arena. What I'll typically do is come here, pick 3 lineups. So let's say this red. Now I'll probably place Era to here, Lance is my second, and Giselle is my third, and just play around with teams, change some different things. Well, obviously not this, but yeah. And send in like 10 or 15 battles or whatever your heart desires, really, and then check out the team's performance, what needs to be improved, and do that again, really. Nobody could tell you from the top of their head what's the best 3 teams, especially for your account. Like, you know best than anyone else, really. You know your units, you know your speeds, your builds, so you should be the one testing your teams and setting them up if you want to do best. Obviously, there's people out there who are willing to help, and we have our great Bushido community that is just about that, helping new players and helping any player really with their game progression in any content, not just PvP. So you're welcome to join us. You can check out the Discord in the description of this video. Yep, thank you guys for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. I really appreciate it, and see you in the next one. Bye bye.